Artificial intelligence, fascinating. I think we're in a very early state, obviously, with like all the generative AI that we're seeing at the moment. So we're gonna have to wait and see what that actually looks like. But I can tell you with great certainty, even though people make a living out of bad predictions for future technology, this is definitely gonna be a part of our teaching. What part of our teaching, I don't know, but slide rules and scientific calculators and spreadsheets and Desmos and on, they have changed the way that we teach our subject. They've changed what we value about what even is mathematics. Like if you go and ask someone about what mathematics teaching and learning was from the 70s, they'd be saying, well, you need to be able to understand what the book of logarithmic tables tells you and how to use that effectively. And that's not even a category of thinking for all of you, though the table of standard integrals, which was the predecessor to the reference sheet that you guys had, the table of standard integrals was the last page of the book of log tables. And when the book of log tables was being thrown out because we could afford scientific calculators, the maths teacher's like, wait, that last page is actually pretty good. Can we hold on to that? And it became the table of standard integrals. Technology and mathematics teaching have sort of co-developed and grown up together hand in hand. I'm really looking forward to finding out what that looks like. Whether it is ChatGPT is going to be writing my exams in the future. Cool, right? Or ChatGPT is not going to be coming up with the answers for students. I'm going to be asking my students to interpret the 5 different answers that ChatGPT gave me, 4 of which are just complete rubbish, but they sound plausible, don't they, right? Can you as a student know enough mathematics to interpret where the AI is wrong on these and correct it? The sky is going to be the limit, but definitely it's going to be a part of our teaching and learning in the future. 3 pieces of advice for beginning teacher me. Okay, number 1, learn to be better at asking questions than giving answers. Because I thought that becoming an expert teacher was about knowing lots of answers. And expert teachers do know lots of answers, but they also know when not to give the answer. That's number 1. Number 2, I kind of already touched on it, but I'd have to say it if I was meeting first year teaching me. Relationship is everything. Relationship is everything. Actually, you asked a question before, Bianca, about how to stay engaged in teaching, and you were talking about like the content, because I keep teaching the same content, but you will keep teaching different students every single year, and they're probably the thing that motivates me most. Like the content's cool, I like it, it's interesting, but the things that will roll you out of bed when you've had a bad month and you are exhausted and you didn't sleep nearly enough than you did for the last like 2 weeks, right? The thing that will roll you out of bed, I promise you, it's not the idea or the concept you're going to teach that day. It's the kid whose life you're going to change. Or the kid whose life you did change last year and you know they're in your classes, but you just don't know who they are yet. They're there though. That's going to be what motivates you. So number 2, relationships. Number 3, you're a leader. You don't feel like you're a leader in your first year teaching, but you are. You just don't know it yet. You're a leader of your class. You will very quickly become a leader within your school. And don't go around feeling like other people are leaders and maybe one day I'll get there. Because if that's your frame, like one day when I'm ready, I'll be a leader, you'll never lead. And in fact, what you'll find is you've gone through 25 years of a career and you've abdicated your responsibility to be a leader all the way through that. You're a leader the moment you step in the school. This big question about the high school certificate and how it's structured, right? There's been a lot of attempts to rejig what it looks like. I actually think, for the most part, partly because of what New South Wales is like, what its culture is like, is kind of self-obsessed a little bit with how academically rigorous we are and how good we are, our traditions have a long history, etc., etc. Here's my, I'm not a betting man, but if I had to put money on the table, I think the HSC, the final exam, is probably not going to change shape much for like the next long time, because it has survived many significant changes in technology and curriculum, and it's kind of effectively the same thing in our subject that it was like 40 years ago. Now that doesn't mean assessment hasn't changed. It means that assessment within the school has changed a lot, and it should, because there's so many things in mathematics that we care about that you just will never see in a final written exam. That doesn't mean the final written exam is worthless, but it has to have a foil, a contrast from the internal school assessments that give us a sense of what a student can do apart from when they're under time pressure, when they can't look up anything, when they have to do those particular kinds of problems that we're actually checking to see, can you do this quickly and not just thoughtfully and creatively, right? So school-based assessment, I think, is where the real change is going to happen, and that's a very live space. If English is compulsory up to year 12, why isn't maths? Well, number one, in the next few years, mathematics might be compulsory. So that's on the cards, though, you know, new month, new government, so who knows what's on the table, right? But number two, to the deeper question, right? If you could give me a magic wand and I could decide whether mathematics was compulsory or not, on a knee-jerk response, I'd say, I'm quite happy with it not being compulsory. Now, I'm not saying it would be, you know, there wouldn't be certain advantages if it were. I think certainly it makes a statement to society when we say, you've all got to study this. That's how important it is. It's compulsory. And I think that's kind of what English does. However, talk to any English teacher and they will tell you how frustrating it is that they have hundreds and thousands of students who want to be anywhere but there, but they have to be, right? And so what I want, my dream end state is that every student does mathematics because they chose it. Because we have made such a compelling case from K to 10 that this is useful, it's powerful, it's beautiful. Why wouldn't you study it for 2 more years, right? That's where I want to get to. And so there's a lot of work, obviously, for us to do. The system can help us in that, by the way, but I kind of feel like, you know, we're in a good spot that yes, it's compulsory up to year 10. Remember, there's lots of subjects that are not compulsory up to year 10, and it's really hard getting people on board. Think about this. Those subjects that stop being compulsory at the end of year 8, so think about all of the creative and performing arts, think about technology and applied sciences, all that kind of thing. You got to convince a 13-year-old kid that this is really worthwhile, right? Now, mainly the way that they do that is, let's try and hopefully make it a little bit enjoyable for them, and then we'll also get the kids who have a natural flair or aptitude for the subject. Everyone else, forget about it. They lose them. We at least have the advantage that we keep them till they're a bit older, and at a 15-year-old point, they're making very different decisions. But the other piece of the puzzle is, I wouldn't make it compulsory because we don't have enough teachers for it even now. And so if we magically added another 6,000 students in years 11 and 12, we'd be in even more staffing pressure than we are at the moment. So we've got a lot of work to fix this, but you can see they're mostly around that, and they're not fixed by just making it compulsory. So if it does happen, I hope all that other supporting work takes place in order to make compulsory maths actually worthwhile and valuable for our students.